Hi there luxury watch lovers! Welcome to this channel where I cover the background, fundamental design features and things to consider before buying your watch. If you have a luxury watch that you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments below. In today's video, we're going to cover the Seiko 5 SRPE53, a modern twist that gives a classic a new look. The Seiko 5 Sportsmatic includes a Kunji day wheel, which is a pleasant surprise. It has been designed to accommodate both casual and formal attire, and it is extremely comfortable to wear. Consider it a diver's watch minus the rotating timer bezel. It's built with the same tenacity as a diver. The watch is equipped with a sturdy and reliable automatic movement, which has been proven to be a workhorse that will continue to tick for years and years to come. With the SRPE53, Seiko strikes a perfect balance between sport and elegance. It is sporty enough to look great for casual occasions, but also classy enough to work with a suit or jacket thanks to its relatively slim case and mesmerizing blue dial. Kintaro Hattori purchased a defunct factory in Tokyo in 1892, and Seikosha was founded. Kintaro Hattori made his first clocks here, launching a company that would go on to become one of the world's most important timepiece manufacturers. Throughout the 1890s, the success of Seikosha's wall clock business grew, and Kintaro sought to diversify his business. In 1895, he invented the Timekeeper pocket watch. It was a significant step forward, without which Seiko's future would have been very different, as it paved the way for Japan's first wristwatch. Ren Tanaka's brilliant mind, a product planner for Seiko who was passionate about marketing at a time when this concept was almost non-existent in Japan, gave birth to the Seiko 5 concept. After creating the Disney timeline, a marketing revolution that aimed to plant the Seiko seed in the minds of young Japanese children in order to turn them into customers of the future. He then created a new line of watches designed for students and young athletes, the Seiko Sportsmatic 5. Now with this in mind, he set out to design a line of modern and affordable watches for young people. And the only way to make high-quality modern watches affordable was to mass-produce them. Since the beginning, the goal has been to create an international line of watches, and with the Tokyo Olympics approaching in 1964 and Seiko serving as the official timekeeper, it was the ideal time to launch Seiko's first international line of watches. The first 5, dubbed Sportsmatic 5, was released in September 1963, ushering in an exciting adventure and success for Seiko. Seiko is one of the world's most well-known watch brands, especially when it comes to low-cost automatic watches. Having said that, Seiko is well known for its stylish and long-lasting automatic watches that punch well above their weight in terms of quality and finish. And if you're looking to get your feet wet in the world of watches, the Seiko brand should definitely feature on your radar. Overall, they have a large collection of watches of various types, including automatic, quartz, dress, sports, and other timepieces. But the Seiko 5 Sports collection is one of the most popular collections from Seiko, according to watch enthusiasts. Seiko made numerous changes to its sports watch lineup in 2019 and 2020. This meant not only discontinuing models, but also introducing a lineup of new ones. The most notable change was the discontinuation of the now legendary SKX dive watch. However, Seiko also introduced a new and intriguing model, the SRPE. Seiko essentially took its new diving watch and replaced the unidirectional rotating bezel with a steel bezel on this watch, a more versatile and classic diver-inspired timepiece than the dive watch. That being said, if you're looking for a classic, versatile timepiece that can be worn for a variety of occasions, the SRPE line might be the one for you. The Seiko SRPE53 was designed to be a sporty and durable everyday timepiece. It's refined and clean, but it still has plenty of sporty elements and robust build quality, in addition to its appearance. Seiko's decision to base the SRPE53 design on a dive watch and then rework it is unique and intriguing. It's definitely a watch with a distinct personality. So what are some of the design features? The Seiko SRPE53 has a case diameter of 40 mm and a thickness of 11.5 mm. We're looking at a lug width of 20 mm and a lug-to-lug of 44.6 mm. It features an in-house automatic Seiko caliber 4R36, and this movement allows up to 41 hours of power reserve. Its unique dial and the movement can be seen through its Hardlex crystal. And for all our aqua lovers, it has a water resistance of up to 100 meters. It has a reasonable price of $275, and if you're a first-time watch buyer, this is a great deal. Here are 4 things to consider before buying the Seiko SRPE53 watch. Starting with number 1, the case. Seiko created a completely new case for this model. While it is undeniably inspired by the 5KX, there are a few differences. The case has shrunk from 42.5 mm to 40 mm in width and 13.5 mm to 11.5 mm in thickness. The 5KX has always had a slight cut-in where the case meets the wrist, but the slimmer profile makes that cut-in appear even more dramatic. This results in an extremely thin-wearing watch that won't crowd your wrist. The lug-to-lug distance is comparable to the 5KX. Now, even though that dimension hasn't changed much, the wearer won't notice much of a difference because the case already had a relatively short lug-to-lug distance. The crown guards have survived and have always been one of my favorite aspects of the 5KX case. The bottom crown guard has a swoop that adds some style. You will notice the obvious difference from the 5KX, the fixed bezel. The SRPE53 features a fixed bezel from Seiko. The bezel has a heavy chamfer around the edge, and while the entire thing is polished, the top of the bezel appears brushed at times. Because the bezel is slightly narrower than the case, the transition from bezel to case has plenty of depth. The bezel in this case is not only clean, but it also has proportions that complement the dial and the overall impression of the watch. Sterile dive bezels are entertaining, but they result in a watch with a disproportionate face. The lug width is a welcome addition to this case, and the 5KX's drilled lug holes have been carried over. Moving on to number 2, the dial. The dial is based on the popular SKX series of divers, but it forgoes the rotating bezel in favor of a downsized sports watch style bezel. Because of the blending of the two aesthetics, it is known as the DressKX amongst Seiko fans. The dial's numerous applied elements add depth, making them stand out beautifully. A Seiko applied logo has always been one of my favorites. For whatever reason, those 5 letters look fantastic on a dial. Seiko did both of these things here, as well as bringing in applied markers. At 12, 6, and 9, the markers used are simple but slightly decorative. Those who are familiar with Seiko divers, such as the SKX, will recognize this shape right away. The triangle with an elongated point at 12 and the 2 elongated circles at 6 and 9 provide instant orientation and add a decorative touch to the dial. A day-date complication, as one would expect on a Seiko 5, is present at 3 o'clock. At first glance, this handset appears to be a carryover from the SKX or 5KX, but that is only 2/3 correct. The hour and second hands have been retained, but Seiko has changed the minute hand. The minute hand appears to be slightly longer, reaching out toward the dial's edge with a slightly different arrow shape at its tip. The markers and hands are filled with Lumi Bright Lume from Seiko and will glow just as brightly as any other Seiko you've seen. If you are unfamiliar with Seiko Lume, it glows brightly and at the slightest touch of light, it lasts for hours. Even though the dial is inspired by its bigger brother, the SKX, it is easy to see the comparison to other watches that many are making. The most popular comparisons appear to be the Tudor Black Bay 36 or 41. Let's take a look at number 3, the bracelet. The oyster-style bracelet is similar to what you'd expect from a previous Seiko 5 generation. It's a little squeaky and stiff. The clasp may not be the most appealing to your eyes. The standard Seiko flip-lock clasp has only 2 micro adjustments, allowing for half sizes of each link but only half the number available on Seiko divers. It serves as a final reminder that this watch is designed for comfort, not speed. This means fewer strap changes and less concern about straps simply not fitting those thick lugs, and a lot more versatility for the watch itself. Unlike previous Seiko 5 models, the new 5S can be worn with almost any type of strap, from dressy leather to rugged NATO. Wrapping it up with number 4, the movement. With a few welcome upgrades, this watch looks and feels more like the Seiko 5S. The 4R36 movement and larger crown are the most significant improvements over previous generations of Seiko 5 models. The push-pull crown is also more comfortable on this model than it was on the 5KX. Many Seiko fans were ecstatic when they discovered the 5KX had a push and pull crown. They were looking for a replacement for the SKX, and the first Seiko 5 launch wasn't it. If Seiko had started with this model and then introduced the 5KX, I believe fans would have been more forgiving of Seiko. The 5KX wouldn't have appeared as a downgrade to the SKX, but rather as an evolution in the line. And this wraps up my review of the Seiko SRPE53. Thank you for sticking it out to the very end of this video. These videos take a long time to make and are a labor of love. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Seiko 5 Sports automatic watch. And remember, time is your greatest asset.